Teacher, do you teach Ichimoku? Yes. I've sent the video in the group chat. Yes. Okay. Hello to everyone. In this session, we just dedicate this session to the trends, identifying them. How do we know if it's long term, medium term, or short term? Like when you want to open your order, you want to know that is it sideways or bullish or bearish. That these are originated from some candlestick patterns and some pivots. Like in high time frames, you can identify it in high time frames because you know that you like your trend of today. Your today's trend is what type of trend? You should check some candlesticks. Like the type that we have here, the yesterday's candlestick that has finished has given me a good bearish signal. This candle that has two shadows shorter than the body from both sides are like the candle is full in its body. When it's in the bottom, the full candle means it's a bearish signal. The two shadows are shorter than the body of the candle, and it has finished in the candle's base. We have some candlestick base here, and 4 candles have finished in the belly of this candle. This candle shows that because we're in a daily time frame, it gives you signal for today, and you can easily get your buy signals. Pay attention to this point. This candle that has 2 shadows on both sides, shorter than the body and the large body, and has finished in the candlestick's base, and the next candle has started working here, like from the bottom. This here has given you like a bearish signal, but when we look at it and it's like this, and it's in this price zone, you don't have a sideways market, and it's like a straightforward trend downwards. So there's a price drop and it's straight to the down. Like you have some other types as well, but if I want to tell you one type of this candlestick would be this candle that this shadows could be shorter than this, and we can have no shadow in one side. Like when the candlestick finishes, it can be with no shadows. When it's without shadows, don't think that it's another candle. It's that same candle that gave you a bearish or a drop signal. Like here. Look, this candle has been finished between 2 bases. Like it has finished, and the next candle has started working from here, in this zone. This candle should be large. Look at that white thing in the inside of it, should be large. When it's large, it shows that we have a good drop of price. But if it's small, like it's finished with a small body, it gives you the opposite reply. Means this trend is sideways, like here. Like the candles that we have here. Look, this candle is exactly the same with this one, but it's smaller. It's really smaller. Pay attention to this zone. So that shows that the day that the signal is gonna get created, the market is sideways. The trend is not good that day. But when the body of the candle is large, it shows that you have some good drops in it. I show you another example like this candle. This candle is no different really from this one. Has two shadows from both sides and it's full, meaning the price is gonna drop. And the next candle has started working from here. It has given a really good drop signal, and the pivot it has pulled back. Or in other types, like this candle, like this one here. Look, this candle doesn't have shadows from both sides. Look, it doesn't have from both sides. The only difference from this one, is that this one has shadows and this one doesn't. The candle that you saw that had a large body and had two shadows from both sides, or at least from one side, if your candle is bearish, should be a shadow on the top. And it has shadows, the next candle will give you some drops in price. But if it doesn't have a shadow from both sides, it means that it's sideways, or it's like the candlestick overlapping. Like this one doesn't have a shadow from both sides, and it is like lower than the pivots. The pivot was here in this zone, and it has gone up again. We call it the sideways trend. Like that, they didn't have like good swings. Sideways is that in that hour or in that day, your price has been going back and forth between a resistance and a support in one line of price movement, like between 50 and 100. So whenever you saw that a candle has a long shadow and have it from one side and it's on the top, and if your candle is in the bottom, has finished on the bottom and has a shadow on top, or have both shadows on both sides, and they're shorter than both sides, it shows that you have a price drop, a good price drop. In other charts, if I pull it up, like Euro chart, in the 4-hour time frame, that exact candle has been created. That candle that we had on a daily time frame, we have it on the Euro chart in 4-hour time frame, and it has finished as a white candle. The next candle has made you a set of drops, like Australia. Look at the Australia chart. It doesn't give you like a steady set of drops, because it doesn't have shadows from two sides, and at least it doesn't have one from one side. So it doesn't give me a really intense drop. It will go up again. Why did I put my TP near it? Because I didn't have this candle, and in the lower time frame, in the time of daily time frame, I have a open and close pivot. It gives you the drop, but it doesn't give you like a steady set of drops. How do we know that our trend is a long-term bearish or a long-term bullish, or either short-term? We know it from the shadows of the candles. When the candle is large and without the shadow, and it's near the pivot, it's a short-term bearish trend, and it gives you a few pips. But if the candle is with shadows, or has a shadow from the top, like if it has finished in the bottom and on the top there's a shadow, it will finish as a bullish one. Like here, it was an overlapping candle. And it can give you that steady set of drops, like in the chart of New Zealand. In here you see the candle has shadows and the body is large as well, but the longer shadow is on the bottom. When it has a longer shadow at the bottom, you shouldn't expect it to drop. Expect the price to drop. So considering the shadows wrongly would make you do errors. You would say that my body should be large and it has shadows from both sides, so it's gonna drop. But you didn't pay attention that the longer shadow is on the bottom. If it was on the top, it was gonna drop. Or like in another chart, the candle here. This candle would be overlapping. This candle is overlapping because this candle, you don't see a candle next to it. It doesn't have a base, so it's not continuous. And because it is like alone and has a body larger than the shadows, and it has finished in a pivot, so it must be overlapping. What does that mean? Like I'm combining candlestick and pivot. Like this candle, this shape, if it finishes here and it finishes on this base, and if it is white, you can say that there's a price drop. But if it has not finished in the belly of a candle, or like in the base, it's an overlapping candle. The candles are matching with this. The shape of the candle has no difference, but the difference is where it has finished. And that's why I say that candlestick has some techniques, and you should know that that candle has finished in what place. The similarity of the shapes will fool you a lot, but if you know the techniques, it's really important. So if it has finished in the belly of the last candles and is white and has two shadows from both sides, or at least one side, it's a price drop. But if it isn't finished in a candle's base and the shadow under the candle, it is finished in a pivot, know that it's an overlapping. And another type in another chart, like this candle. A candle's base hasn't been created next to it. This candle is alone here. We have one pivot here and another one here. And here we don't have any more. These two, we have two pivots. We have more entire time frames probably. What happened? Overlapping. This candle would go up until here because this pivot is here that wants to make it go back. So it's gonna overlap here. And another chart like this candle. Look, this candle, this is finished bullish. The bottom shadow is longer and it's finished in a candle base, and it's gonna make the price go up. You shouldn't consider it like this, that it's gonna overlap. This is the opposite of this candle. It should have a shadow from one side or both sides. You can get its signal. So this candle has, if it has a large body and is finished bullish, and the shadow on the bottom is longer, and it has been finished in a candle base, it's gonna have an up signal at the end. And don't be worried about, like, maybe this candle would finish here and the next candle would finish the next. It's gonna make it go up at the end. This will work at eventually, either in one candle in the future or two candles. Like after two candles in the future, it's a little rare to happen. Like out of 10, maybe 2 of the cases would happen like this. Or the chart of another one. Like, look at the gold chart. I'm sure that somebody has get losses here. Like had profit but made losses. The candle finished as bullish, but it finished in a pivot. So it's overlapping. Until what? The next pivot would be one here, one here, and one here. But some people say that because it has finished as a bullish, this candle, and the shadow at the bottom is longer, it would make the next candle go up easily, and they would open a buy position. But they didn't pay attention to the pivots. If we didn't have pivots, and the pivot was here, my price would go up until here easily. So from the way of knowing the shape of candles, like the being large or smaller, I would know that my trend today is sideways or medium term or long term. If my shape was like half of it and it wasn't in the pivot, I would say that for a time it will go up. But if in the way there was no pivot, I would say my long-term trend is upwards. If you want to get it easier, the more you put your time frame higher, you have more long-term trend. So if you're getting signal from a weekly time frame, your whole week gonna be upwards. If you're in a daily time frame and you're checking the candles, I have a daily long-term trend. So the order you're opening, pay attention to the time frame. Like in the weekly time frame right now, I can't open buy order according to this candle that has gone up and down, because it has given you the answer like in the weekly time frame. So each candle should be analyzed in its own time frame and get the signal from that time frame. I should get the signal in the beginning of the week. I don't get the signal according to the candlestick at the end of the week, because it has replied to you. It's the end of it. When it's the end of it, why do you open a buy position? If your time has passed, you can't trade on the weekly time frame. Lower your time frame. like according to your daily time frame, until like 11 or 12 a.m. you can like decide about your daily time frame. But like not 5 or 6 p.m. on that day, because it has replied to you. It's near the pivots right now. When it's near the pivots means the price has operated and is having these pullbacks. When you're in the evening and it's the past, you're in these hours, just put it in the 4-hour time frame to work. You shouldn't get signals in the daily time frame anymore, because it's the end of the day. You're in the second half of your day. Like right now, in let me see a trend that hasn't even operated. Like in a 4-hour time frame of oil chart. Let me see. Like it's 14:28 p.m. Means 2 hours have passed from my 4-hour time frame. When there's 2 hours and a half passed, means I'm entering at the middle of the thing. When I'm entering in the middle, you should lower your time frame to 1-hour time frame. What has it signaled? A bullish signal. When this has bullish high, this candle has started working and I'm late and I saw it in the middle of the thing, I should see that it has its movement or not. If it is still here, you can have hope to get it. But it has moved and has reached its pivot. So you can buy here. You're at the end of it. So you should, if you want to trade, you should check your time frames to see how much is left from your time frame or where you are at the time frame. Try to be at the beginning of the time frame. If it's 4 hours time frame, when it got ended, like half an hour later, go and get your signals of this candle. Because like at the beginning it has give you a bullish signal. If it has a bullish signal in 4-hour time frame, means that in the 4 hours in the future your price is gonna go upwards. Until what? Your pivot. What is your pivot is here. You have one pivot here and has reached it, and a price pivot like here. And you have one here as well. So for now, I have half of a 4-hour time frame. So if I wanted to give a good signal when it ended the 4-hour time frame, I would get a signal half an hour later. Not now that it has reached the pivot. Because when it goes back, you should like get the beginning of this each candle. When a candle finishes, it gives a signal that how the next candle should move. So be at the beginning of the new candle, according to the last candle. Okay. Look, they asked that can we get a buy limit in the oil chart? Where do we put it? You mean here? If you mean here, you don't have like a little part. Because if you want to get a buy limit, when this candle has finished and the next candle was started working, like I always say, there's like 1 or 2 centimeters of overlapping and then it moves. You should put your buy limit here. And you would put your TP on the first pivot and then exit. So right now this buy signal is no use for you. Each candle is beginning. I will make examples in other charts in 1 minute time frame. Look, in this candle, what signal did it give us? A bullish signal. The bottom shadow is longer than the one on the top. And the next candle has started working here. It says that my signal is bullish. So from now on, you can buy. Because this candle has given you the signal. And it's the beginning of that next candle. And you have one pivot here and one here. So here I enter buy position, and here I put my TP, and I put my stop loss here. I put my stop loss here because it has given us a buy signal, and I had it if it broke its pivot, meaning TP. Because the signal is bullish, it should go up. Has it gone up? Not still. So because it hasn't here, you have time to get your buy from it. Because if it has reached here and broke here, you didn't have the right to decide about it because it has worked and get your apply. You should wait for the next candle to finish and get your new signal. Like for example, in 1 minute time frame, and it's gonna finish right now, I will tell you. This candle has given me a bullish signal. Where is this TP? It's here at the beginning. Has it operated? Has a new candle has started working? No. So you can buy here and put your TP here, and put your stop loss would be here. One level higher, because you have gone up like one candle higher. If you want to decide about it in the higher time frame, you should put it in the 5-minute time frame and get its signal. The best stop loss and TP would be your central pivots. This is a minor pivot and this is a central pivot. Because when it opens, your price will drop. Yes, this candle has made the price drop until here, and it has hit this stop loss. But it's possible that it will hit your TP at any moment. Here your signal has changed. You should close it soon, because it has made a bearish signal. So you should close your order. Like this candle is the exact same candle that is giving you the bearish signal, because it's in the belly of the base candle's base. When it's inside of it, means the next one is the price drop. But I'm telling you, the best method for trading is to get signal candle by candle. Like here, it has given you a bearish signal and has hit its TP and stop loss. So this one will give you a new signal. Just check each and every one candle signal. And if you open the buy position according to this and get a high and it has given you a bullish signal, you should put your stop loss here. When it put it here and it got you a bearish signal and your stop loss is here, you should like manually close the order. You should close it because it will drop more than this. So make your risk lower. Like right now, this candle, there's two bearish candles alike with each other and next to each other have been finished. If it opens a little, would be an intense drop. So understand this. When there's two similar candles with the same signal, like with shorter shadows, means the trend is going to continue to the candle. If it's downwards, it was going to go down. If it's upwards, it's going to go up. Like here, why did it pull back? Because it was this pivot. One pivot we have here, an open close candle pivot, and one here. So if you're opening order, pay attention to it. Why do I say that try to work on higher time frames? Because you will get the pips that you want. And now you're not fast enough to decide and analyze at the same time. To the time that you want to analyze it, it has given you the half of the movement. But if it's in the 4 hours, because the pips have more distance and more long-term signals, it's easier. It's real easier. Like if in 1 minute time frame, to the time that you want to think that what was this candle, I'm saying this for the beginning of your work because you're not fast enough right now. If you want to enter in the middle of the work, it would be bad. When you're a real professional and your analyzing speed got faster, you can trade on the lower time frames. But you should know each and every candle, because if it give you the opposite signal, just close it, either with low profit or losses. Because if you don't, it will make you more loss. So here would be the exact same candle. It has been signaled from this first. When it is finished in the candle's base and it's bearish, it would be the continuation of the trend. But if it's not in the candle base and it's alone and there's nothing in the sides of it, it would be overlapping. Because it's not overlapping, so it's continuous. And it has beautifully given you the answer. Like this one has given us a bullish signal and it's finished in the pivot. Maybe it's going to go up. Like here, if this candle is finished here and you would enter the buy position, you would know that the candle is going to go up. But where's this pivot? You should get your like 2 or 3 pips profit and close it. Like right now, it has a bearish signal. Like if I did like 1 or 2 pip profit, close it, you should exit here. Because it has given you a bearish signal, so it should drop down. It's about the speed of your analyzing. If you do it fast, you can check each and every candle and close it with the least loss. It's the same in scalping as well. In your scalping, know that when it's giving you the signal, you will make error in some pips and candles. But sometimes the candle changes its signal. It wasn't in a bullish signal. It has given you until this pivot. But it has gone up and finishes in shadows. And the candle will drop until this pivot. The pivot's in this zone. Like here, you can't do anything right now. You should wait for a base to finish, because maybe this candle will go up or maybe go down. Because your price is stuck between 2 pivots. So wait for a pivot to open, or either on the up or on the bottom, because you're seeing your pivots. You shouldn't just look at the shape of the candle. Like here, I'll wait to see which pivot will open. Your price is between the resistance and support. 1 pivot here and 1 here. It has opened the top one. It has opened it. You should wait for the candles to start. When the new candles start working, is it in a pivot? It has like a little pivot here. When it passed it, do your buy position. Because you have pivot here. You should an open close one here. When it passed a few pips, do your buy position. and it's the base of your top. Like I'm analyzing some few strategies at the same time. Like this has given me a bullish signal, but it is in a pivot. So when it like passed it for 2 pips, I do the pie position. It would be like the V top. But be sure and then enter. And put your stop loss here. Like if I open a buy order here, when I open a buy order here, oh, it has a wide spread. I put my stop loss here. Like my signal has given it came back. So it will drop until like here. If my order was less, I would close it here. But I have put my stop loss at least. Here, because the candle is small, and it gives you like small drops as well, because it's a pivot. There's something about the pivots. Whenever a pivot breaks, like I have a pivot here, and the price has broken it from the bottom. When it breaks and passes it, it will give you a pullback. Means it will again pass this pivot and then goes up again. Like this has made a spirit signal. It has made a bearish signal. We find out this pivot. We should look quickly and see that it's in a pivot or not. I have an open and close candle pivot here, a low pivot here, just these two. I should put my stop loss here. We shouldn't touch it. Because in this zone, if it opens it, like if it opens this, it will intensely drop again. Look, when your time is lower, it's human errors because you're not fast enough. But if you're like 4 hours and up, you would easily get your pips without any anxiety and hurry. Because in lower time frames, you should be fast. It has given us a bearish signal. Like, you should pay attention to the candlesticks. And I put my stop loss here. And the fixed place is this. Because you have a central pivot here. Your high is here. Because if this high opens, your price will intensely drop. Until it's not open yet, you have a pullback. Because this can be your end of the base, one of your V top. And if it opens, it's the continuation of the base of your V top. So pay attention to your pivots. Whenever a pivot breaks, your price goes up, has a came back, and then again it goes up. Its main going up. Like here, when I put my TP, would be one here because I had spread. I ordered here, and it opened in a pivot. But the next pivot is here. Here, it will make you another high. And stop loss 1 and stop loss 2 on the center. It's a central high here. Until this high hasn't opened yet, your analysis is valid. Sure, I'm sorry. I have a question. At the beginning of the session, you said to how to identify the trend of being long term or short term. It's about the size of your candle. Like, let me higher the time frame. In this time. Isn't it large, this candle? It's large. It's larger than the other candles. When it's larger, know that looking for our time frame, you know that you have a medium term, a bullish medium term trend. But if it's a daily time frame, you have a long term bullish trend. It's about the candle and the time frame. Like in the 4 hour time frame, if it is like large, know that in the 4 hours in the future, the 4 hours is the medium term, right? I have a medium term bullish signal. But if it is small, I know that my next candle wouldn't be really strong. Wouldn't give you a really good going up. The swings in the candles, like some trends, they're longer until one candle gets finished small. Like here, this candle, it give you a bullish signal. So it shows that in the 4 hours, you have a bullish trend. It will go up until here, right? So it's medium term. A medium term bullish signal. It has hit it one time. You shouldn't buy here. It has given you the medium term bullish signal. It gave you a small candle again. Because it has finished in a pivot, it has overlapped. That's how the reversals and highs. If they're smaller, its next candles would the swings are smaller. Like look here. Let me make an example. Like one small and one large. Like it's not in a pivot. I want them to not be in a pivot. Like this one candle is large, and the next pivot is a little higher. So the next candle would be a little small. I have low pivots here. Let me do it in higher frames. Let me see. I have pivots here, and the pivot is here. Okay. This candle. It has given you a bullish signal. And the candle is small as well. And the pivot is in short distance with it. I have an open and closed candle pivot here. It was like a stock here. The distance from this to the next candle is short. So it gives you short distance. But this candle, look at it. This is a large candle. This is a large candle. Whenever a candle finishes, it will like overlap like for 1 or 2 centimeters and then operates. If it opens and gives you the final confirmation, it will give it intense drop to you. Like you should consider the size of your candles. Then you should consider the distance between your pivots as well. If your candle is large and the distance between pivots, like this has given you a down signal, and the distance between pivots is long, know that you have a good trend in the day. In the daily time frame. It has given you a large bear signal, and the distance between pivots is long, kinda. So I can say that in my day I have dropped from here to here, but in the condition of that it opens this. But if it is small and the distance between pivots is this, it had a pivot so it couldn't open, but it opened it right now. There was like a comeback, a little comeback here. You would enter here, you have a little time for your order, like a few pips. If you don't want to consider this minor pivot, but it's not a minor pivot. If it wasn't an important pivot, your next pivot would be this, and a low and an opening closing candle. You had from here to here. Let me do it in another chart. Teacher, the Dow Jones chart. No, let me do it this. This candle has given you a high. The confirmation is that it will open here, right? And what's the distance between the pivots here? So I have a bullish signal from here to here. Would be how many pips? It's a daily time frame. Would be 44 pips. And what's the distance between the pivots? Like 44 pips. It's the same between the pivots and the candles, but it is larger a bit. And the distance between these pivots is a little large as well. So that's when you know that your trend will give you a lot of pips. What was your question? I'm sorry. I said that in 1 minute time frame, Dow Jones is like making candles really fast. They're making candles because they're between a resistance and a support. And you have one here, a pivot. How can it go up until where? It's between this. You're talking about what time frame? Like the increase? Half an hour. Your pivot is an open close candle here that is stuck, and one was on the top. If it passes here, its next pivot will be here. You can get a few good pips from here to here. It has give you a bullish signal, and it has opened its pivot as well. And its increase has given you, and it has came back above the candle. Now here we don't do anything here. When it passes it, you do a buy until here, like a good number of pips. Like you can have a medium term in half an hour time. You can have a price increase here as long as it passes here, meaning here. Let me put the line on it. Here. When it passes this, you can do your buy position until here, but you can't do it here because here it has finished in a pivot and it has opened it. The candle is continuous, so you should close it right now. You should wait for the next order. Where's your second order? Is that as long as this opens, it's your second order. Because if it has came back, it's because of the pivot. So wait until it opens the pivot and then goes to the next pivot. So how do we know that our trend today is a good trend and has a high number of pips? The shape of the candle, the size of it, and the distance between pivots, meaning the distance between the targets. When it gives me this signal, what is the distance between the targets? If it's long, you can have a good trend. But if the distance is short, you can have few pips. How do we know that? How do I know that my trend is good today or for the next week? I look at the distance between these. Like for tomorrow. I do an example of tomorrow. Your price is overlapping and the candle is overlapping and it's alone. So it's definitely going to overlap. It's not something unnormal. It will operate. It's moving from bottom to top. You can easily get the signal. Didn't I say when the candle is like this, it's gonna be overlap? 2 plus 2 is 4, right? It's not unnormal. So this candle is gonna operate like it's gonna overlap. Like 80% is gonna overlap. If it's really strong, it's gonna 100% overlap it. It's at the end of it right now. It's at the end of this overlapping. And it's gonna come back like any moment. And if it's gonna come back for your tomorrow, if this candle can open this zone, where's the distance between the targets is here, the low. We have good pips until here. But if the pivot was here and the weekly here, and we'll break this zone until the end of the week, I will have a good trend in the week and have good drops. Or here, when it opens it, this one, the target pivot here. Where's the next one? It's here. So you have an intense drop from here. Like I would say that your next week will be a good trend. Let me get the weekly time frame. In last week we said that it's wanna make it like a V bottom shape. The candle has given you a bearish signal and the bases are higher than each other. And the base was higher. And it has given you a downward signal. It's a rule. For long term, if you want to get it, like in the monthly, if you want to check it, no, I don't have it right now. It would be here, your target. Here. If the candle was here. What's the date? It's 14th. Your beginning of the month was this, and you're entering at the middle of the month. You shouldn't do a sell here, like suddenly. It's at the end. You should come back like in this zone. If it's in the beginning of the month, you could have a profit, and it has finished in a pivot, and it could have overlapped. But it has dropped more because it has opened this pivot. Where should my weekly be? My pivot, weekly's pivot. Where is it? One is here. And one is here. It's in this zone. In the end of the week, on Friday, you should get this pivot. So when I'm opening an order, it should be long term. But when in the middle of the week, if I enter a buying position, you should have some comebacks. And it should hit your targets. Like, why do I open long-term orders and it will go into negative? But I say there's no problem because I'm entering in the middle of the work. My Friday's target is here because I'm analyzing the weekly time frame. When you're analyzing the weekly time frame, you should find out the pivots of the week. When you're doing the daily, you should get the pivots of the day. If in your 4-hour time frame, you should get the 4-hour time frame. This has given me a bullish signal, and my pivot was here, open and close candle, and it has opened it. What's the next one? Here. So in this 4 hours, if it really tries, you can get to here. And I shouldn't buy here. I should enter selling here because this is my pivot. Because this is the end of my 4-hour time frame. Or I wait until the next candle gets finished. The important thing is that you can enter in Forex really precise and have the least losses is that you enter on an exact point, like in the beginning of that time frame, like the beginning of the pivot that has been broken. Not like in the middle. Like your pivot has broken 3 hours ago and it has passed a little, you would open an order and expect it to not go into negative and hit your TP. That's not going to happen. Why do I say that do it in the 2 a.m. or 3 a.m.? Why do I say I'm analyzing then? Because I'm in the beginning of my day and I'm deciding about my TPs and I'm analyzing about the pivots because I got my candle signal and it said that it's gonna go up until it's pivot. Where? Until it's the beginning, right? And the distance is long between the pivots, so I can enter. So you do the same. I said that the difference between 1 minute and 4 hours is this. You should be really fast analyzing the 1 minute time frame because the candles are like finishing at one after each other. Like this candle has given you the bullish signal. This candle has finished in a pivot and it has opened its first pip and it's continuous, it's not overlapping. You should exit here. Should be ready for your exit. If it opens here and you had a buy here, I did a buy position here, I would ready to be closing in the first second. No, I haven't had explained the psychology, market psychology. So this is the way, because your reaction and speed is still slow. So try to work on higher time frames because it gives you time to analyze, gives you time to identify. Like in 1 hour time frame, that is the beginning of the beginning of my hour, it gave me an up signal. But be aware that it has finished in a pivot. It has finished in this pivot. You can do two moves, or like wait until it opens it and be continuous, or you risk and put your sell stop, and that is wrong because your elasticity is upwards, because the 4 hour time frame should get its target. So here the best reaction you can have is that to wait until it opens it and you get your profit and then close it. When you close it, it's the end of the 4 hour time frame and it has given you a new signal. Did you get it? It's a little hard, and the hardness is because your analyzing speed is not high enough. You should experience too much, just open and close too many orders, not on real account, on a demo account. You should experience it until you have learned the strategies. You just have to practice and make your analyzing speed high. You would open your order and you're analyzing the next one, but the last one has like a reply to you. Like the speed of analyzing depends on you. If it doesn't happen, don't go under 30 minutes. Scalp, really, you have to really be clever with it. Like in 1 minute time frame, like here. Like as it opens, I should open my buy position and then we get my pivots. I should go do it quickly. in here. I have pivots here. So I should close here. It's in 1 minute time frame. You wouldn't even let me analyze it or forecast. This chat, the chat room wouldn't pull up, so I would see. Let me answer these questions at the end of the session. Did you get this? Look, the topic of today is for you to understand your long-term and short-term and sideways trend. You can identify them from each other, diagnose them. If I want to make you understand, is distance between pivots until you master your candlestick topic. Just consider the distance of the pivots. If that distance is long, know that there's a good trend. And if it's close or it's short, know that you have a sideways trend. Or if it's really short, you know that it's short term. Like right now here, the distance of the pivots until the next pivot is there's a full candle between them. And I can have profit from here to here. But if the candle here that is finished, the next pivot would be here. You see this that I have made a line. One is here as well. It has finished here, and the next candle has started working here. The distance is really close. So know that that candle, don't expect it to go steady until here. So it would come up to here. The distance between pivots is really close. What's the distance? It has a good distance. So we can give you profit here. The easiest way is to identify your pivot's distance, the size of the candle and the distance of the pivots. Let me answer your questions. I haven't still explained psychology, and it's about the videos. The videos that I've sent you are things that I've explained already. But a little, which your class was a little high for it. The techniques are that. There's no new technique in that. I haven't still told you to practice the indicators. They're the package. I just sent you the videos. You shouldn't practice indicators right now. Is there any questions? Guys, is there any questions? Thank you. Okay, you're welcome. So, I will give you a summary of it. The distance between pivots and the size of the candle and its signal, if it's bullish, know that the distance between this candle and the next pivot, know that how much is it. If it's short, know that it's not really good, your trend today. But if it's really long, know that that day's trend is really good. and it will give you good pips. And if it's exactly on the candle, don't expect it that expect it to be sideways. Like right now, see, in that candle has given you a bullish signal, and one pivot distance from here was this, and it hit it easily, and then it broke again, and your next pivot is here, and it can give you profit for a few pips. Okay, Mr. Hashemi. The next session would be your psychology, market psychology, but I will solve your problems there, and then
جلسه بعدی تا یه سری در مورد کندلا گفتن مچ کردن تایما داریم که من یه نیم ساعتش اختصاص میدم بابت این رفع اشکالتون ما بقیش میشه روانشناسی
I will like solve your problems there, and then we will dedicate it to this market psychology. I don't know how much it will take your psychology.
آموزشی تموم میشه میفته
It
تو بخش
will,
روانشناسی بعدش چند جلسه
and
این
after it will be trading.
نمیدونم چند جلسه
I
میخوام
don't
بهتون
know
بده
how many sessions it will take.
یک مثالی هم گفتم که
And then
آماده کرده
another,
باشید که پی دی اف که آماده داریم بذاریم بالا
I
پی دی
will
اف هم براتون
I
میذارم
will give you the PDF as well of the candle. Yes, we can change the hours of the psychology session, so everyone could be free. So you'll be concentrated on my speaking. Like you don't do trades in that time. Your next session, I will be a solving problem session, and it will be like this hour, or I will change it.